AITA for telling my son that he is obviously gay? My son, 17 meters, has apparently been in the closet for the past 7 months. So, my son is fairly masculine, straight acting if that makes sense. However, he's very obviously had a boyfriend, 18 meters, for the past 7 months. He sometimes baby talks to this boy, hugs him all the time, has called him handsome, share clothes, sits way too close to each other to the point where they're basically cuddling. He closes his bedroom door when with him but not any other friends. Sees him like every day, buys him gifts. And for the past 7 months he now always smells great, has his hair fixed really nice, and dresses nicer, among other things. Today I asked my son if was going to invite his boyfriend on our trip. And he got awkward and said, "That's not funny." I asked what he meant and he said, "I am straight." That's not funny. I laughed, and when I realized he was serious I started laughing even harder. I told him he was very obviously in a relationship with a guy and did a terrible job at hiding it. He got emotional and started asking me not to tell his dad. My husband already knows. Like I said, it was obvious. Then he got upset saying I outed him when he wasn't ready. He hasn't said a word to me in a couple days. AITA? Honestly, deciding if you are or aren't tall or had malicious intentions or not seems less important than making sure your son feels safe, comfortable, and loved. I think you should go to him and first, apologize for laughing at him, no matter your intentions. It's rude and probably made him feel so belittled. Second, apologize for making an assumption about his identity and trying to ascribe your take onto him. Third, explain that your assumption was simply based on your read of the dynamic between him and this boy. But you realize now that the only people who get to make decisions about what they are, or are not, to each other is the two of them. And whether he has those feelings or not is not for you to dictate, nor demand he explains to you. You can explain that maybe it felt obvious or clear to you, but you realize now that your take matters far less than his. And you're sorry for imposing your perspective on him or making him confront revelations about himself that he may not have been ready to fully address. Fourth, for the love of God, tell him that you love and support him no matter what his identity is in, regardless whether he feels ready to disclose such personal things to you yet. Also kinda YTA, because laughing in your kid's face, laughing at them, is super rude. YTA. He might not have realized how obvious it was. And it is obviously a scary time for him. And you laughed at him. You are his mother. And he should be able to count on support in times when he is scared, not ridicule. Laughing at his distress and outing him before he was ready. Very slight YTA. Raising him to be comfortable enough to have such a sweet and open relationship around others. You are so NTA. As much as parents can be loving and accepting, society and specific communities are often not. Even if you knew he is gay, keeping it a secret is his choice, not yours. But no harm done. You didn't start shouting it on Facebook or anything. You just told him his parents already know. There's no harm in that. I mean, how could Op not laugh? They've basically been smitten in front of her for months, and he was openly shocked that she noticed. Everyone would be laughing if they were a straight couple, and Op treated them like one. As she should. We've spent decades working towards our relationships being treated equal. Why complain when it's finally happening? Maybe I'm too ingrained in the LGBTQ community, but I think this is funny and a lot of us would do anything to have our parents react like this. A lot of parents kick their kids out for being queer. Some physically attack them. Some force them into conversion camp. And everyone is mad Op is being supportive? Come on. NTA, but maybe apologize for the giggle and get him some snacks. As a gay man, some of y'all need to get over yourselves. NTA. Yes, he had to come out at an unexpected moment. But maybe don't suck so bad at hiding it. I mean, it's terrible we have to hide anything at all. But if you're not ready for people to know, don't go around showing off things that obviously give it away and then get mad when someone has connected the dots. Especially if that someone isn't even being malicious about it and has no way of being aware of what the entire situation even means. You're punishing an ally that we desperately need as many of as we can get. I mean, really. With fascism bearing down on us, y'all want to scream at the mother who just told her son, honey, you're not as inconspicuous as you think you are. Up. It looks like you're a loving parent and had no ill will towards your child. There is a lot of fear and uncertainty involved with coming out, and since your child is now realizing he may not have that security anymore, those emotions are getting charged. The best thing to do, based on what I felt I wanted before I came out, is to just continue to show him that it makes no difference in your love and support of him. Why laugh, though? I'd say a soft YTA. It's great to hear of a parent who doesn't have an issue with their child being gay. However, you could have handled it better. You outed him there and then laughed. Maybe sit him down and have a talk with him and apologize for the way you handled it. He is going through a lot of emotions and probably has for many years. Then suddenly he feels outed before he's ready for that next step. I think instead of laughing, you could have used it as an opportunity to reinforce the idea that you'd be okay and accepting of your son if he was gay. I'm sorry I made an assumption, but I just want to make it clear that you're dad and I wouldn't care one way or another. Anyway, how about for dinner tonight? Quote, after hearing a reassurance your son might have felt more comfortable about opening up with you. Both. So I'd say you were ta because you seem to have bungled it. Albeit unintentionally. This one's really tough. On the one hand, calling a spade isn't necessarily bad. He's being insanely naive if he's doing all that stuff and pretending no one knows. And if he's like that in public, that might be dangerous depending on how accepting your community is. Which sucks to even have to worry about, but reality sucks. On the other, wow, did you handle this poorly? You can be like, son, I know you two are dating. I love you and I'm glad you found someone you like. You can always talk to me. Even if the laughing was somewhat of an involuntary response, it's still incredibly belittling. I don't feel comfortable saying you're not an ah, but I also don't want to say you are. He is definitely not an ah though. He's allowed to feel how he feels with this. My parents knew that I was queer long before I could bring myself to acknowledge it. But they at least had a decency to let me talk to them about it when I was ready. When I approached my mom about it, she told me that yes, her and my dad already knew and they had known for years. It was just a simple, yes, we know and we love you. I ended up being quite relieved. They didn't laugh at me or force the issue when I was still trying to figure myself out. YTA. It doesn't matter how obvious it is to you. People remain in the closet for a reason. And he very well may have been testing the waters to see if he could come out safely. It is never ever okay to out someone. You owe your son an apology. Especially for laughing at him. That made you an even bigger asshole. YTA. One of the worst parts about being queer is the fact some people don't take it well. Hence the danger of coming out. You just confronted him about coming out, then laughed at him. I assume you're not intentionally being cruel and dismissive. However, that is what you've done. Your son has every right to be angry at you. This isn't how a good parent or anyone should react in your situation. NTA if he had been doing all the same things with a girl and you called her his girlfriend. Nobody would say you're an aw. If it had been a girl, and the whole family picked up on the chemistry. Again NBD. Why would you be an aw for treating him and his boyfriend the same way? We can either be accepting of all relationships, orientations, aside from maps, or we can keep treating them as oddities and othering them. I personally am in favor of just being accepting and not treating them like they are some kind of anomaly. YTA for the way that you handle laughing at someone, especially your son, was like pissing on him. You owe him an apology. He may be your son, but he is also a person. He didn't need to be laughed at. As a bi male, NTA. Emo, he came out to you via his actions, and offering to take his partner on a trip is a very nice thing to do. Now if you'd shared this with 3 parties it'd be a different story. Now, toxic masculinity is a thing. And sometimes people have internalized some of the harmful ideas. So even though you might think it's no big deal, he might be dealing with some shame, etc. So I'd urge you to clarify that you will not tell anybody else and that you don't have to talk about it unless he initiates the conversation. Nah. What people don't realize is that Op has done him an honest favor. If he is so obvious in front of his parents and he is clueless about how clear his actions are, that is going to be dangerous for him in the wrong setting. If he wanted to hide it, it's better for him to hear he did a terrible job hiding it while in a safe space. His "I wasn't ready yet" feelings won't matter if he's caught off guard and outed in a dangerous place. Let this be a lesson for him to be more careful about his actions, till he is prepared to publicly come out to others. Doesn't outing someone involve other people finding out? NTA. Yeah. YTA. Forcing him to out himself, making assumptions, laughing at him when he was distressed. You, as most cishet people, have obviously no idea how difficult and usually important coming out is. And regardless how queer person feel about the coming out, it is always life-altering event. To be ridiculed during it, because mother wanted brownie points for being an ally, sucks. I'm going to go against the grain and say NTA under the stipulation that you don't out him to anyone else. Laughing wasn't very nice of you, but maybe you were trying to lighten the mood. At the end of the day, he's living in your house, going up to his room with someone he's dating with the door closed. He's still a minor. That's deceit, not privacy, because that takes away your choice to set some ground rules. Being gay doesn't give a pass to do whatever he wants in that case. Everyone is up in arms about his boundaries, but not yours. And you're entitled to have some of your own. You're cool with it, obviously. You didn't disown him, and you're still an ally. Just be sure to be supportive in the ways he needs moving forward. Nah, he's upset because he is embarrassed. Maybe Op could have done it in a better way, but I don't think she is the awe. Not everyone is comfortable in communicating. Maybe Op did it subconsciously to broaching the subject. Broaching these type of subject is difficult for some people. Maybe it's not the right way, but I don't think Op has ill intent. What I wanna say though, people who says Op is not supportive are delusional. You think if Op knew and not support it, she will let it slide? Like, what's the point of her waiting months if she disapproved of his lifestyle? Plus she invited his BF, how is that not supportive? Also, by what Op tells us, at what point the son think he is hiding his relationship? LMAO, tears of joy, tears of joy.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.